Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of On the Other Line Canada. We have a total of 0. Oh, there's one person watching. Whoever the person is watching, tell us what you're watching on. It looks like Tiffany, you're first this week. You're watching on Facebook. Thank you. And the reason it's good because I got a little message part of the way through the intro video that Facebook Live was not working. But if Tiffany's here and Scott's here, I guess we've got a show. We've got an awesome show this week. We got Mr. Brodie Hughes joining us as special guest. And the one, the only, because I call everybody that, Tiffany, yes, I'm happy it's working. Because if it wasn't working, we wouldn't have Mitch, the clean-shaven gentleman, joining us as a co-host. What's up with the new beard do?
It's just shaven. Sometimes you have to maintain because, like, when you wake up in the morning and you kind of just drooled, it kind of gets stuck in the beard, in the puddle.
Oh, you're a sleep drooler.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Really?
It's brutal. Yeah.
Things we learn about Mitch every week. That's I don't know if I really want to go anywhere with that this week.
No, that's a Mitch fact right there for you.
It's a Mitch fact. Have you always been a drooler?
Yeah, pretty much. If I'm socked out, we've been working quite a bit, so you get home, you have a couple hours to hang out, then it's to bed, and you hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I'm not a drooler, but I guess you got one up on me there. I didn't tell you before the show. We didn't even really have a chance to talk. We were busy talking with Brodie. But we got a new show sponsor we're going to announce at the end of the show because there's a pretty cool contest giveaway that goes with that. We're only 49 page likes from 600. Isn't that's crazy?
Yeah, that's awesome. How quickly it's spreading.
And I didn't have to pay for any of them, I think, which is just cheap on my pocketbook, but even better. Unless you had to pay people to maybe like the show page.
Just friends and family, I just like, come watch me, here's a couple 20s.
20s?
Well, not 20s. It's Monopoly money, but
oh, okay.
They'll figure that out soon enough.
I'll have to talk to your boss. I think you're making too much money. Man, if I had known you're paying $20, I would have had you pay me to join the show page. We'll talk about that more later in the show. Brodie, we're going to bring you in. Are you good? Just give me yeah. He's looking side to side. Anyone that's worried he's being a passenger this week, Brodie, welcome to the show.
Hey.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now, as we learned before the show, Brodie, you're just a working stiff. You're trying to work to pay off all that fishing gear, and so you're slowly making your way home from work. What has your season been like this year, Brodie?
The season's been a little slower this year. I've been working a lot, but if I get a day off, I make the best of it, even if it means I drive 5 hours to get to the spot we want to fish.
5 hours. So are you the type of person that's willing to drive further than you'll fish in a day? Or if you're going to drive 5 hours return, you're going to fish for at least 12 hours during the day? Make it a 22-hour day.
No, I will fish the entire day. I've been up before, like even just a week and a half ago, Eric Cochran and I were, I think it was 20 hours from the time we left my house to the time I got back to my house.
That's a good stamp.
Tag team driving, I'm sure.
No, I drove the whole way, but he didn't sleep at all, so.
I don't know if I can do those trips anymore. Every time I go, my passengers fall asleep on me. What about you, Mitch?
Yeah, I can do them. I start I get pretty tired, just the rumble of the engine, but usually I try to be the passenger so I can fall asleep on people like Todd's.
Oh, you're that guy.
I can't sleep in a vehicle. I have to be awake. So I usually just drive.
I always convince myself I can't sleep in a vehicle, but let's face it, I can sleep anywhere. I won't be traveling with Mitch, knowing now that he's a drooler. Not my truck.
Well, I won't drool like when I'm sitting up in a chair like this. I don't just like, I'm not a bulldog, you know? It's like I can control that a bit. It's more when I'm like face down, you know? But I don't think we have to talk about this anymore.
No, we're just going to leave it alone 100%. Brodie, you mentioned that you've been doing, like this 5-hour trip, for example. Is there a specific species you enjoy targeting that will involve a longer trip than others, or is it just pretty much any species at all you're willing to just take a run at?
Any species, but like I'm more of I go by the weather. So if the weather on the U.S. border is a beautiful day, I'll drive from Camrose to down there to fish for the day. If it is for cutthroat or some species like that, or if the weather's no good there, we'll look at Edson or Hinton or Jasper. If the weather's no good there, then I'll go to Cold Lake and I'll take my boat and I'll go fish stickers instead. I'm an opportunist when it comes to there's always pristine weather summers in Alberta. So I pick the weather, or I haven't caught this species in a while, let's go for that.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good way of looking at it, and I don't know if I've ever approached fishing that way. I'd rather just fish where I'm going to fish and complain if the weather's too hot, too cold, or too miserable.
I prefer to have a fun day on the water or on the river. So I will look at the weather and go, I'm taking the 5-weight today, or no, I'm taking the streamer rod today, or no, I'm taking the boat today.
Always have to have some options available to you, right?
Oh, yeah.
I know you'll fish at anything, Mitch. Anything but lightning storms, right?
No, last year we were supposed to helicopter in for some Goldens, then we decided to go for bass instead. So we made a 180 kind of. Just due to 2 feet of snow on top of a mountain and may not be able to get helicopter back off. That was the decision after that weekend. So we played it safe and did bass fishing, and I think we're going to do that every September long now.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Brodie. You said golden is something you haven't done, correct?
No, golden trout is the only trout that I haven't got yet. Like, I've caught Lakers in a lake, but not in a river. But for trout species, I haven't caught a golden. That's the only trout that I don't think I've caught yet.
Would you hike or would you helicopter, if you could?
Hike. I'm claustrophobic, so I'll hike.
Well, I'm happy I'm not the only one that'll helicopter, Mitch. We might have to do a double trip for this golden trout experience.
Yeah, get a little backpacking tent and we'll go up there, stay for a few days.
I don't know if I want a tent with you, no offense. Can we not just do a day trip in a helicopter?
You're not staying in my tent, so you have to get your own tent.
I will not be sleeping in a tent, so I guess I'll be sleeping on the shore or a picnic table or something in there. Adam's just asking, Brodie, do you have a Dolly Varden?
Oh, no, I guess no, I don't have a Dolly Varden. I only know of one spot to go for it, but I never remember on my days off.
Grizzly bear country as well, right?
Yeah, it's out west of you, is it not, in that area?
It is, that's correct, yep.
Yeah, and I think there's only one spot you can actually go for it, and there's not a lot of, I usually just don't think of it as, I'm usually, spur of the moment. Last summer, my wife gave me the A-OK to disappear for a weekend of fishing, so I gave my buddy Eric literally an hour and a half notice till I was going to be there picking him up in the truck, and we just left. We just made it up a plan as we're driving, and so I never think about going for the dollies.
Sounds like dollies might be on your list. I was actually going to just do it anyways last year, and they shut the area down for a bear scare, so that didn't work out. I wasn't super upset. Now, we both know that you're actually a fan of getting chased out of the country by grizzly. It just recently happened to you, did it not?
I made sure my buddy was in front of me, though, so I was safe. He was in the lead, and I just walked away slowly, and then he turned around and realized that I was already on my way out.
You didn't even wait for him?
Oh, no, I was about only like 20, 30 feet behind him, but as soon as the bear dropped on the river, I just started backing up. He stood there and stared at it for a second just to kind of see what was going on, but I just started walking backwards right away.
Are you still friends?
Yeah, I took him fishing 2 days later. And, well, as soon as he turned around to see me walking away, he goes, "Oh, you weren't going to hang out to see what I was doing?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm good." Me and him walked, like, because last year, both him and Eric and I were off for like 7 months, no work. And I think we figured we walked 600 to 700 kilometers in the mountains on rivers last year, fly fishing. And that was the first time we ran into a bear.
Yeah. It's not super common. As long as you're making noise and stuff, usually you don't have a problem. But being beside a river and everything, you have to make that extra noise just because of the currents, the riffles, and everything. It's just...
Yeah, that's when I realized why people for that area packed air horns in their backpacks.
Yeah.
What's your experience been with grizzlies, Mitch? Any hair-raising encounters, or you just been lucky enough not to have to deal with it?
Not fishing, just hunting. But the thing with grizzlies compared to a black bear, like, they'll see you, they know you're there, and they don't really care. The thing with a black bear, they'll watch you, and depending on the black bear, you can usually scare them off, but I don't recommend it at all. But they're much more, what would you say, more interested in you black bears. So they just want to see what you're doing that, and then they'll just walk off. Grizzly will just walk by you and continue on his route unless there's cubs or something, or you're in his way getting to that where he's trying to go.
Yeah. Once was enough for me.
Yeah, this one, he dropped on the river. I think it was only like a 2-year-old. Like, it wasn't a massive grizzly. Like, it was still definitely a grizzly. He dropped on the river. Wind was blowing her scent right at his face. He didn't catch it right away. He went down, ran off, and then all of a sudden he just turned and ears went up. He just sat there and stared at us, and that's when we like, okay, we're out. And now he knows.
Yeah.
He's aware of what's going on. It's time just to give him a space.
Yeah, he wasn't moving. He just sat there and stared at us.
Yeah, bears are super curious and they'll just watch you, but when they get older, those big grizzlies, they know what they want. You're bugging them, you're gonna know it right away. Like, there's a lot of different things. Black bears, grizzlies, they'll start snapping. Like, their jaws, if you're getting in their territory and they're starting to get mad, they'll snap. They'll start poofing at you. And those are signs it's time to leave. Not as fast as you can, but make sure you're leaving the area and keep watching where they are. Don't turn your back to them. Same as a cougar.
Well, he wasn't very aggressive, but I just, being how small, like, he was kind of a smaller one, I didn't want to take the chance of it being a cub still with its mom a year later. So yeah. I was like, we should just leave. So we went down river, an hour and probably 2 hours down river. We came back up to the parking lot, and as we were turning around to leave, or getting in, Eric said he heard some shouting from down on the river, and I didn't. And then as we're turning around leaving, a group of horseback riders came flying up, and they were pointing back behind them and telling these other people that were sitting in their vehicle something. So we just assumed the bear was still there. So we were like, oh, it's a good thing we went downriver and just stayed away.
Yeah.
Definitely scary stuff. Dino was just bringing up, it's funny, Mitch, you mentioned as well, but Dino ran into a couple of cougars. No bears this year, but cougars. I don't know that that's ever happened to me, but Nothing worse than a cougar scream. Yeah, it was downtown Calgary. That's where Dino likes to fish quite a bit, and rampant with cougars down, and especially in the Kensington area, I believe it is.
Were they screaming at him?
Well, I don't know if they were screaming, but he was probably screaming, running away would be my guess.
I had that happen a week and a half ago, Mitch. We were walking back upriver, and one of the guys we were fishing with, he's an avid hunter, and I didn't pay attention to it because I'm not a hunter. And we heard this scream come from the trees to our left as we're walking back upriver. And then Buddy stopped and stared, and then he kind of like gave us the wave, like, keep moving. And we walked another eighth of a mile before he would stop. Like, whoa, what's up, bud? And he didn't have his gun with him because he didn't have the right pack. And he said, there is a cougar back there kind of mad at us. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, that screaming was a cougar. I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, they'll scream at, like, it's like a high-pitched shriek when they're, like, kind of irritated. They're, like, either, like, usually in a tree.
Yeah, you probably just bumped them up into a tree, kind of caught them off guard, and they'll go up there. Just like when they hunt them with hounds and stuff, they'll go there for safety, then they'll let you know that they're there. Most of the time
I've experienced that.
Yeah, most of the time cougars you don't have to worry about too much. If you see one, keep eye contact with it. Make sure you don't break that eye contact with it, because if you do, like if you're looking over your shoulder, they will run up on you every little chance they get and just test you. It happened to a friend of mine when we were elk hunting, and he had to back out 300 yards watching this cougar, and just every little stumble it'd try to advance on him. But as long as you make sure you know he's there and it's a safer situation.
Is there anything scarier than the call of a cougar?
They're pretty, it sounds like a crazy lady screaming at you. Not gonna lie.
I was thinking angry baby.
Maybe a fox is an angry baby.
It was definitely a distinctive sound. It caught me off guard because I was looking around. I was like, what was that?
Yeah.
It makes you think twice for sure. So, something you mentioned earlier, Brodie, I'm interested to know, where did you get your passion for fishing? I know we're going to talk about your son a little bit, but where did you get the bug?
I've always been fishing as a child back in Prince Edward Island, but just for like little brookies or the smelt run in the spring. My dad took me out lots, but I never got after any big game species until I moved to Alberta. But 6 years ago, I quit smoking and I needed something to kind of occupy my mind, like just to take away cravings. So me and a few of the guys that work for the same company, we were slow that winter. I think that was 2015. We all just started ice fishing every day off. And then spring rolled around and I was like, I told the wife, I quit smoking. I'm going to buy myself a little present. So I bought a 14-foot Alumacraft. Got a trailer and a motor, the nice ones with a floor in it. And me and all my buddies from Camrose, we just would go out fishing every day off we have. If I'm not flying my RC airplanes, I'm either fishing or doing that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what do you like to target out of your little boat? Do you go for a lot of perch up in your area, or?
Like I said, it's weather depending. I used to just be perch every day. Every day off I had was just perch, and then I just decided I should go look for other things like the walleye, the pike, or go Cold Lake if it's nice.
I don't know. Did I just hear you say you're better at catching perch than Greg Rice? Anyone else pick up on that, Mitch?
I've taken Greg Rice fishing in the old chum guzzler.
Is that what you call your boat, or is that what you call Greg?
Well, that's what I call the boat, but
Just had to clarify. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Greg and I have ice fished, and gone fishing in my boat a couple of times, but I'm yet to get an invite to the new Explorer jet that Greg got this spring.
Greg.
I think he's a big deal now. I don't think those invites are really floating around unless you're in BC. I think is how it works now. Is he a BC boy?
Who, Greg?
Yeah.
Well, he's in BC right now, I think.
That's what I say. He's trying to catch sturgeon, right?
No, I saw a bunch of pictures. He's doing pretty good right now.
Doing really, really well.
Yeah. But maybe we gotta.
Yeah, he's been sending me Snapchats like every day of sturgeon.
Yeah, no, they're doing good.
I don't know. Maybe Greg's just holding them.
I think we just gotta make a trip down and talk to our friend McFlurry down there.
I think it should happen. I actually talked to Andrew when he donated all the sweaters and shirts, which are actually now gone, officially shipped. And
Yeah.
I don't know what November will bring, but we'll see. It's Marcy's birthday. I mean, a fishing trip on the Fraser should be a good birthday gift, right?
Oh yeah. I think this year is supposed to be a good year. I think they have a good salmon run, and when that salmon runs on, I think it was the sockeye, I believe it is, the sturgeon gets super aggressive, and it's one of the best years every second year to go on.
Yeah. Do you ever get back home to PEI at all, Brodie, to be able to fish or anything like that, or spend time with family?
I used to go like every couple of years. I left in 99, 2000, and I used to go every couple of years, but since this whole COVID thing, I haven't been home in 2 years. But when I went home, I used to always take my niece brook trout fishing, and I'd take my brother or my kid, and we'd go deep sea fishing, do the touristy thing, as it's called down there.
The touristy thing, I don't think I've heard it called that before.
Well, he may be gone.
Maybe.
For a second. I see his mouth moving.
I can see you guys there. I can hear you.
We lost him and then he came back. That's okay. That's the joys of Alberta coverage, where there's no dead zones whatsoever. Going back to your son. Your son's 8 years old, right?
I'm around civilization.
Civilization.
Yeah, my son Mason's 8.
What's the experience been like with you as far as teaching him how to fish? Last week we spoke to Amber Serbin, and she mentioned that sometimes it feels like maybe you're pressuring your child into liking fishing and the sport. How does your son enjoy fishing?
He was all for it when he was 1 to 5, and then once he discovered electronics and video games, now it's a little bit harder to get him out. But if it involves taking out his cousin or taking out one of his school friends, he's all for hopping in the boat with Dad and going for the day, because it's his boat and Dad's boat when he gets to brag to his friends now.
Yeah.
Does he fish better than you do?
Well, he catches a lot of pike, and I told him, you can catch all those all you want, buddy, because I want nothing to do with those things.
Just not a fan.
No, I'm not a fan of pike unless I'm specifically targeting them. I guess some people might say pike on my line when I'm perch fishing or walleye fishing is like when they're river fishing for rainbows and cutthroats and they're catching nothing but whitefish.
Yep.
I'd rather catch a whitefish than a little snot rocket any day.
Yes, that's true. They're a lot more more fun, and they're a little easier to handle.
Yeah.
And if anyone can catch whitefish, especially on a fly this year, Mitch, it's been you. You've been doing spectacular.
Yeah, no, usually the spring into midsummer is awesome for lake whitefish. We love targeting them. There's nothing better than just seeing them, casting to them, and just watch. Like, you don't even see them take it half the time. It's just when they turn their head. That's when you bring up that slack and hook into them.
Yeah.
But there's nothing much funner than that right now. Like, they fight so hard. It's one of the funnest fights out there on the right weight rod.
And
I
what's
was
water
planning- I
clarity
was-
been like for you with that, with being able to target them? Have you found it being pretty accurate?
Water clarity has gone down the dumps since mid-September, but that's usually when the whitefish move deeper as the temperatures change in the water. They're going to go to that different column of water to get back into that temperature. So they're going to be in that 18 to 28 foot range, but lower down. And you're still going to get your risers and everything, but they're moving from different off that vegetation where they're eating certain nymphs and whatnot and small minnows, and they're going to focus more on chironomids and whatnot.
I'm interested to see what you guys think about what Dino put up. He's saying lake whites are pound for pound the best fighting sport fish we have in Alberta.
They're black.
I see you're agreeing. What do you think about that, Brodie?
Rainbows. I
Rainbows.
was shaking my head.
I will actually agree. The fight of a rainbow is good, but with that being said, my open water fight with whites has been phenomenal. Dino is saying pound for pound. I mean, I don't know what kind of pounds we're talking here, but Mitch agrees with Dino.
You get a 3-pound whitefish and it's on a 3-weight. That thing's taken for a ride. Like, sometimes you have to chase them with a boat sometimes.
Yep.
And they're 3 to 4 pound. Like, you got to catch up to them because you're watching your line right when it goes in the water. Then you're seeing it over here under the water and they're just still ripping. It's one of the funnest fish I've found lately.
Yeah, he's saying 5 pounds of white to 5 pounds of rainbow. He's calling whites all day long. So can't really disagree with him, but I'll disagree with him because it's Dino. That's about the only reason I'll disagree with him. Brodie, you mentioned earlier that usually your go-to for a fly rod is going to be a 5-weight. Do you have a collection of rods like I do spin cast, or do you just stick to one setup?
I have a collection of spin casts, ice fishing, and flies. Last year when I discovered fly fishing, it started out with one 5-weight and then a spare 5-weight because I broke the first 5-weight and didn't want to wait for the return for the repair. And then I got a 3-weight and then another 5-weight and then an 8-weight and was looking for a 4-weight.
That's a collection.
3-weights are awesome. I don't know. I'm biased. I'll fish a lot of trout with a 3-weight. Unless I know there's something over 20 inch at least, like 22, over 20 inches, I'll move to my 4.5 or my 4-weight.
Yeah.
But
3-weight, you're probably a little bit more limited size-wise, are you, Mitch? Like, what would you typically be targeting? Like smaller streams and stuff with 3-weight?
I'll target smaller streams, but I'll do, like, lots of people don't do it. As long as you run the right tippet, right, you can still muscle in the fish. As long as you have your net guy farther down, you can get it in a reasonable manner and get your pictures. But it's just that I just love 3-weights. It's just the action more for me. I'm an ultralight guy. I like running smaller gear for everything I fish for.
I was just going to say that every time I've ever fished with you, you're always using light gear, and I'm standing there waiting for you to just start breaking things. It never happens.
I just give you a rod and say, use this one. It's better.
I'm good at not bringing the right gear. That's for certain. With open water, Brodie, is most of your stuff all fly fishing right now? Have you kind of been focusing more on fly fishing than spin cast?
Mostly fly fishing, and if I can get in a river, I'll go to a river. But this year I started trying some lake fishing with the fly rod, and I had all intentions of going after some open water lake whites this year, but we just been so busy with work this spring, not a lot of time off.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you're ready to do it, let me know. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Dino better hook me up then.
I don't know. I think he's more of a shore fisherman. I don't ever really see him do anything but shores. He says he lake fishes, but I'm yet to see it.
Well, that's fine. I'll bring the boat to him.
I don't know if he'll fit on you. You said you got a 14-footer?
No, it's a pretty big 14-footer though. Usually I can fit 3 adults comfortably.
The size of the boat isn't the issue. It's the attitude that he packs with them. I don't think it'll fit in anything under a 16.
Oh. Yeah, I cheated with my boat. I discovered a hack for making my 9.9 a 15, so I still got 9.9 stickers on the side of my motor, and I just so I don't have to register it. And all the fish cops just look at your boat and they just see 9.9 stickers on the side.
Do I dare ask, because no one's watching right now, how you managed to pull this off?
You have to register. I think it's just a sticker.
Well, no, it's still stamped 9.9 on the motor, all that. As I found out by Yamaha forums, a $36 carburetor recage part from straight from Yamaha, and change your prop. That's it for a 99 and newer 2-stroke. All it is the opening of the reed cage is 3 mil on a 9.9. They detuned it, and you can either bend it back, order a new one, and it opens up to 6 mil. So I went from 26 kilometers an hour with just me in the boat to 37.
Wow. It's just like an old 12 valve. You just shave that injection spot.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was an actual Yamaha outboard mechanic on a forum that told me how to do it.
Well, I know what I'm going to do with my 9.9.
It's going to be a closet 15.
With the 4-stroke, you have to change the carburetor and the reed block. A 2-stroke, it's just the reed block.
Yeah, I got the 2-stroke.
Yeah, it's easy. It's a little part, 2 bolts, pop your air filter carb off, change the reed block out, bolt it back up. I went from a 9-pitch prop to a 10. The 15's got an 11, I believe, but they said online to use a 10 if you normally pack a bunch of people, which I do. It's usually me and Eric, or me and another guy that I work with, or me and my kid and his buddy and his dad. So there's usually a lot of people packed the boat.
It's definitely a good way to be able to increase that horsepower without upgrading.
And now we know.
And it's just got a 9.9 on the back.
I know what Mitch is doing this weekend.
Working on my trolling motor.
Working on your trolling motor.
Not my 9.9.
Still, I guess. Yeah, if you had like a 9.9 for a trolling motor, it'd be nice to have a bigger kicker.
Yeah, no, I gotta work on my trolling motor. It has issues. Or send it back to Motor Guide and they can deal with it.
I'm more interested to know if you learned that online or if you learned it from your hero, Kyle Stevens.
No, that was just a Yamaha outboard Facebook group, because I was curious if there was anything I could do to my motor without like a major overhaul or buying a new motor to get more power.
Yeah.
And it was well worth 30 minutes of searching Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook becomes useful.
But after watching Kyle's all the Kyle's little videos and pictures of fishing with the jet striker there. I'm almost half tempted to buy a jet boat next spring.
Do you already have an idea in mind of what you'd want for a size of a jet boat, seeing what some of the guys have out there this year?
It would probably be similar to Greg Rice's 16-foot Explorer jet. Just because you can put they bolt a fin to the back of the motor as an option, so you could still take it to a lake and have all the control of the boat, or go fish a river.
Does Greg have an 80 on that or a 60?
I believe he has the 9060 on it. I don't think you can put the one. I don't think you can do the 11580 unless it's a 17-foot.
Yeah.
That's some power.
Yeah, because I was on Derek Lemesh's last year. That's where that sturgeon picture came from. Me and him went out for the day, and he's got the 11580 on the back, and that's fast.
That's what you need.
We were doing 58 downriver and 48 upriver.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was pretty fast, and it still only weighs like I think Derek said it weighed just over 1,000 pounds. Like, it was all motor, the whole boat. He said you can get stuck on a sandbar, hop out, push the boat off by yourself. You don't need one of those rope winches like those big inboard depth guys.
Yeah, no, if that's your complete boat weight, that's crazy.
Colton's got a question.
They're cheap.
I'm interested to know what you guys think of this question. What's everyone's opinion on the Yellowstone cutthroat? I'm sure anyone that's been following Facebook has seen what they're doing this week as far as eradicating them there from the lake. Any thoughts, or are you familiar with that, Brodie? Have you been reading up on that at all?
I was just informed by Eric yesterday about the Yellowstone cuts, and I just had a quick couple minutes reading it, and like, they've been in that lake for a long time without escaping, I guess, and it just blows me away that they're just gonna decimate like a small population of fish that's, to me, it's like as rare as a golden trout, like for a species.
Makes it tough. Mitch, what do you think?
I haven't looked into it too far, but if they're reproducing good and not like inbreeding to make the fish not great, like if it's affecting how the fish are coming out, maybe get rid of them. But if they're still healthy and there's nothing going on there, I don't know why they'd do it.
Yeah. Obviously, some research has gone into that, would be my assumption. Again, not really knowing a whole lot about it, but I have been reading about it a little bit, so it's all I can get from it. Which is crazy when you think about the size of the fish that they're catching out of there. Again, a hike I probably wouldn't take, but it was pretty cool to see what a lot of people were catching out of that lake.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it all depends on how those fish are breeding and whatnot. Like, I'm not taking any sides or anything, but if they're starting to get side effects or whatnot from inbreeding in the lake, maybe that's a problem, but I don't think it would be. Just like landslide or kinglet or a bunch of other Lake of the Falls, those are all cutthroat lakes, but they're stocked, so they're not reproducing, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know till you get all the facts right. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's kind of like on the subject of whirling disease. A lot of people were trying to blame a lot of the guides in Calgary were trying to blame the stock trout farms, and that's what I did for years, was haul trout to all the stock trout ponds in central and northern Alberta. And most people don't realize that if a fish makes it past like 6 inches, they're not affected by the whirling disease. But people would just automatically assume everything was whirling disease as soon as they saw a deformed fish in a trout pond. But in a stocked pond, fish with deformities survive in the hatchery, whereas in like in the wild, only the strong survive. But people just like, it's the same thing. Like, people freak out about stuff like that, and they just make rash decisions, and the federal government gets involved, and it's all over from there.
Right. Sorry, Brodie, were you saying that typically whirling disease affects more fish that are under 6 inch? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, like my buddy that runs his fish farm, he said it affects them when they're small. Like, if they make it to the 4 to 6 inch size, they already made it past the stage that they usually get affected by it.
That I did not know.
I didn't know either until he explained it to me. He's a biologist, so.
Are you still involved in the trout stocking program, Brodie, or?
Yeah, I did. I usually go to Grand Prairie every spring for, not legally, I guess, 24-hour round trip in the fish truck. And I still stock a couple spots, like the Devon Gun Club by Devon, Alberta. A couple of private, like the stock ponds, the communities, they pay for their own fish. But we stopped doing government stocking in all the trout ponds in Alberta because the federal government banned outdoor hatcheries. You can only be done indoors now. Even if you raise the eggs into fry indoors and then transfer them to an outdoor pond, the federal government won't allow that anymore. So I used to do 3 months a year stocking hundreds of ponds from Lethbridge, Alberta to northern like Peace River. And because the federal government banned the outdoor hatchery ponds, we lost like 600,000 rainbows that we used to stock every year.
And sorry, what was the reasoning for them getting rid of that?
The outdoor ponds, they claimed that was going to help spread the whirling disease, but it's being spread by animals and humans.
Yeah.
Good old research. I guess really when you think about it, that's going to have a massive impact for the years to come on a lot of these stocking programs. I mean, it already has by the sounds of it, right?
Yeah, when they shut down the outdoor ponds and we lost those 500,000 fish, like the government, that's what happened to like some of the stocked trout lakes out in the Nordegg area. They stopped stocking them with brook trout because they didn't have any brook trout to stock them with, because they also had to shut down, I think it was the Livingstone hatchery had to get shut down as well because they were sucking out of contaminated rivers. And so the government tried to fool everybody, and they would, instead of a lake normally gets 5,000 fish, they only put in 1,000 fish that year because they had to spread it out through all the other ponds. So like some lakes in my area, I used to put 5,000 rainbows in every spring, and they went from 5,000 to 500.
That's going to have a huge impact.
Yeah,
but they're
especially with last year.
Yeah, with the increased pressure. What were you saying, Mitch?
There's a bunch of sites that have been upgrading and adding more fish to their sites. Like the Raven Hatchery, they have grayling now, and taggers, and they're expanding all these operations.
Sorry, did you say they're tagging fish? There's taggers out there?
They're expanding. Like the Raven has grayling now, and some others, and lots of those certified places are expanding their fisheries.
The Raven is not too far from you, Mitch. Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Good brown trout. We catch a lot of browns over there every year.
And how do you feel that the grayling population will affect any of that? Do you think it's something they're gonna be able to make work in that area?
They're just using the stocking pond there. So that's where they're breeding them. I don't know if they're gonna maybe open some lakes up in the next few years to stock, so we get more opportunity for grayling in stock ponds. But we'll just see what happens, right?
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see where that goes. I enjoy fishing for grayling. I don't know what it is about them. Brodie, what about yourself?
Grayling, though, they're a blast. Like, they're ferocious. They're like brook trout on a fly rod. They just feed like nonstop. It's always a good day if you go grayling fishing.
Do you track your personal best for a lot of these species?
Yes, I do keep track of personal bests. Last year was 8 or 12 new personal bests, just because me and Eric, we just fish 3-4 days a week sometimes, like for like 15-hour days.
Yeah. 15-hour days of fishing. I could go for one of those right now.
Come out September long.
We're booked. Just saying. 2 weeks? Maybe? We'll talk about my plans when we go off the show, because we're going to actually miss a show this month. We're going to take a week off the show. Greg's on here. He's saying he's fished out. Greg, we were actually talking about you a minute ago. Maybe you can post what your motor size is for your jet boat. Brodie wants to buy one and outsize you. So competition's on. I think, Brodie, I think you said you got about 180 grand to spend on a boat. Is that right?
Oh, I wish. I'd be buying a Thunderjet.
Maybe.
But have you seen Greg's matching Dodge pickup truck with his jet boat?
It matches his one-piece lime green rod and his tongue ring. I don't know if you noticed that as well. I'll change the subject. Greg says it's a 90-65.
Yeah. You need that.
I figured it was.
One thing you always have to do with a boat: buy the biggest motor that just fits on that thing. Otherwise, you're gonna regret it.
Absolutely, yeah. You never want to be underpowered if you're going to be getting something like that. Greg is stating that the truck is his wife's, although I don't know about the two of you. I've only ever seen him drive it. So just leave that there. Greg, sorry we didn't mean to pick on you. Came in at the right time. We're wrapping up the show. Brodie, I want to thank you for joining the show this week. How can people find Brodie Hughes and learn all about Brodie Hughes? I guess we'll call it the Brodie Hughes experiment.
Yeah, well, for myself, I don't really do Twitter and all that stuff. I'm on Facebook, I guess, but I have a YouTube channel. Just I think it's PEI Rules 154. That's mostly for RC airplane stuff, and I do Pro RC Canada for flying planes. But I haven't got into the whole YouTube thing or GoPros, fishing. I probably should have, because I've done a lot of trips that the Ginger, you've probably seen many pictures of Red's flowing hair, Eric Cochran, on Facebook lately, and me and him have done a lot of adventures fishing, and I'm surprised neither one of us have started using GoPros for YouTube.
Yeah. Not a bad thing. Maybe that'll be your next paycheck purchase.
No, there's a certain 4-weight fiberglass fly rod that I keep eyeing up on Facebook Marketplace lately.
Oh,
Wu-Tang.
Well, no, not the Wu-Tang. It was just
I want that
a Halo 4-weight.
Is that one Bobby has up?
Yeah, he keeps dropping the price, and I keep going, oh.
I don't know where. I didn't see Bobby check in here. I know he's working on one for the Use Can Fish 2 organization as well. So who knows? Maybe he'll give you a deal on that and a deal on some tickets for the charity rod as well.
Maybe.
Oh, you guys doing a raffle for a charity rod?
We're working with Bobby and the Rod Lab on building a rod for the Use Can Fish 2 charity that will be raffled off on the show, and obviously proceeds of that will be going to the charity. So we should hopefully have some details on that soon. I'm probably stealing some thunder from Bobby, but anyone that wants to know more about that, maybe message Bobby or give him the gears. I think Dino said he's already going to buy that Halo 4-weight if you don't do it in the next 20 minutes, Brodie. So no pressure. Get out there and support Bobby. He's thinking
pretty
about
expensive
it.
fly rod.
You only gotta buy it.
What'd you say, Mitch?
You just gotta buy it once.
Yeah. Sold. Bobby, Brodie's going to be sending you some money here. Mitch, where can people find you at?
Northwest Mitch on Instagram and Northwest Adventures on Facebook now.
Amazing. So we mentioned at the start of the show, we have a new show sponsor. Mitch doesn't even know who it is. Brodie doesn't even know who it is. AIF Rentals and Charters. Jared Littlejohn and his family there, they started the pontoon charters this year. They're an official show sponsor now. So what we've decided to do, thank you, first of all, Littlejohn family, for joining the show and helping sponsor us for what we do. Jared has so graciously donated a trip, a day trip on the pontoon boat once we hit 600 page likes. So for anyone that's interested in wanting to know more about that, once we get to 600 page likes, we will help the Littlejohn family decide a winner of that contest. Who knows? It might be Brodie. No?
Nope, it's not Brodie. And make sure you like and share that. We should probably do a post so they have to like and share to get in on that.
Yep, we'll do a post tonight for a like and share. Let's get to 600 page likes. When you think about it, we're only 49 away.
So close.
And not only that, at 551 page likes in 7 months, we're only 4 away from a prize that most people would have probably forgotten. But 555 page likes, whoever that is, actually Chelsea picked that number, will be a prize pack winner for that number. And then, a guided trip thanks to AIF Rentals and Charters and the Littlejohn family. Who knows who it'll be? It won't be you, Mitch. No offense.
Well, I can. I guess I can. Well, I can like and share, and maybe I'll delete myself and just keep coming back. So maybe I can get on that other one.
I just pictured a bunch of people unliking the page to wait for it to get close so that they can be the.
We're just going down now.
Yeah. Oh, look, we're down 100. We have 100 people just wanting to be the 555. Dino saying he wants to fish with Big John. Very true. Little John. Sorry, Jared. Dino made the joke. Next week's guest, Mr. Scott Connolly. For any of you that don't know Scott, I'm sure Paisley will be there, maybe even Dexter and his wife. Join us next week on the show, Mr. Scott Connolly. Brodie, thanks again for joining the show. It was a blast having you on.
Well, thanks for having me.
Don't work too hard. Get out there and start slaying some fish.
Yeah, that's the plan.
All right, everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you next week with special guest, Mr. Scott Connolly.